This is Car Guys Talk with Andrew and Tavarish.
Hey everyone, how are you? Hopefully you're doing pretty good.
Strong start.
Oh yeah.
Really strong start.
The strongest start for today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My name is Freddie Hernandez. You may know me as Tavarish, and that guy is known as Andrew.
I am. Yep.
Because his name is Andrew.
That is correct.
And we are the Car Guys, and today we're going to be talking. This is the Car Guys Talk podcast, where we talk about cars, car culture, and all that sort of stuff. How you doing today,
Makes sense. Hey, you know what? I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I had an energy beverage, an ice cold energy beverage, and I'm feeling juiced.
So, what kind of energy beverage?
It's called Bang.
Okay, that's enough of that. So I wanted to talk about a few things. Mainly, I have some announcements to make.
You're pregnant. Congratulations.
I've been pregnant many times on this show, which is weird, generally, right?
So what are your announcements?
So my announcements are, number one, I sold the Viper before it's dead before it even started.
So long, nope rope.
No, yeah.
See you later, Danger Noodle.
Project Danger Noodle is no more. It's not going to be
Project No Step on Snack is gone.
Project Trash Serpent is no more. Unfortunately, I really wanted to do something with that car, but I needed the money for something else,
Something crazier.
something very crazy. And I'm not going to tell people what it is because this is going to be a complete surprise. Not like my other cars where I like kind of hinted and whatever I can get, like kind of give you little nudges in one direction or another, or I just tell you what the car is.
Right.
This is going to be a complete surprise until you see me on, I don't know. If somebody else sees me on the street with this thing, then that's one thing. But on my channel, you will see this.
Well, even if someone sees you on the street, they may not know the entire story with this vehicle.
Right. Yes, that is true. So that's going to be coming up hopefully at the beginning of next year. And it is, I will give one hint, and it's just that this is like legitimately the craziest thing that I've ever done, like automotively. It's definitely the most money I've spent on a car ever.
Yep.
And it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be real good.
It's gonna be real good. I also bought another car.
You did?
Yeah, and you're more excited about that one. But we're talking about, like, we're talking around in circles. People don't know what we're talking about.
I don't know which one to be more excited about, honestly.
Okay, so I bought two cars. One is the most expensive car I've ever bought, and the other one is dirt cheap. So you're more excited about the dirt cheap one, right?
Yeah, I would say that.
I'm a little bit excited just because it's dirt cheap and you can do anything you want to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Can we say the math? That one car has X number of cylinders more cylinders than the other?
No, because people can figure that out.
Yeah. Right.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so two cars coming up on my channel, and they are definitely oddball cars, and they are definitely you haven't seen something like this before. I 100% guarantee it. So I wanted to talk about something. Okay, I've been thinking about this for a little while.
Okay,
and maybe you can chime in on this because you're in this world. It's YouTube. So we make automotive YouTube videos.
Yes.
And it's come to my attention that sometimes there's a lot of things in YouTube that people they don't understand about making this sort of content. Even in the automotive space, it doesn't really matter about if it's automotive or not, but just kind of producing content and stuff. And I want to talk a little bit about, maybe this could be a segment or something, but I want to talk a little bit about what people don't know about making YouTube videos.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the things that I've noticed, and I've noticed it from myself and I've noticed it from other people, and these are, I'm not going to name any names, but it's just like big YouTubers, have talked to me about this, and it's loneliness. And it's isolation from people, even though you're putting out videos that have tens or hundreds or millions of hits, they feel isolated from the world because you are essentially by yourself in your own little bubble for this world you created for yourself.
Right.
And people are just, it's kind of like the Truman Show, except Truman has like a fake wife. And
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I 100% agree. I think you create that bubble because you're just basically working every day of the week.
Right.
And then the days that you quote unquote take off are spent, in your case, are spent with your wife here at home,
right?
Decompressing, relaxing.
Those are, I mean, people usually say, okay, most people, they have a 9-to-5 job, right?
Sure, yeah.
And during the weekend, that's when they go out or they get some housework done or they they have time for themselves. And at 5 o'clock, that's when your time starts, right? Essentially. But when you have a YouTube channel, it's like you're on all the time. I worked yesterday was, what day is today? Monday? Today?
Yes.
Today. Okay, we're recording this on a Monday.
Yes.
Yesterday, I worked the entire day. Like I woke up 5 in the morning. For some reason, I couldn't sleep. Did some editing, put out a video. Then I had to go through the comments in the video or whatever because I was selling a car. Ended up selling the car, the Viper that we just talked about. And then I had to, my friend Hendo came over, the guy who was helping me fabricate the stuff on the Lamborghini. So we worked on that like for the rest of the day. And I was also filming for that. And like by the time I get back into bed, it's midnight. And I'm just like, I remember I got in the shower and I was like, nah, I feel pretty good. And then the second you get in the shower, you're like, oh, like
the shower is usually the punctuation to the day.
Right.
The end of that long sentence.
Sure. But it's you go to sleep. Hopefully you go to sleep and you have like maybe 20, 30 minutes for yourself. And then you have to do the whole thing over again. So it's, but I've noticed with YouTube and YouTuber specifically, it's like you always have to produce content, but then it does take a human toll on you because if you go to a event, like we haven't been to events. I know you go to events actually. I mean, you've been recognized a few times, right?
Oh yeah, just like at local car meets.
Local car meets, right?
Yeah.
But if you go to an event where it's like a lot of car guys are there, it's really it's kind of a wake up call because you realize how far reaching this stuff is. I mean, when I went to the UK, Goodwood, like this is a completely different country, and people were like stopping me and saying, "Hey, can I have a selfie or something like that?" I went to a museum in, I want to say it was in Austria or Germany or something. And I just posted some pics from the museum. Some guy in the museum, he was like, "Hey, are you Tavarish?" And he started talking to me about like the Hoovy's Ferrari and stuff. And like, this is on the other side of the world.
That's crazy. That's like, cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was cool. But then I'm thinking, how do I present myself to these other people? And you start to get into into your own head, and you're like, wow, do I really want myself to get? Because you have to edit yourself, obviously.
Yeah.
You were just telling me about this clip that we had for Art of the Flip, and you're saying this, you have some angle that's not very flattering to you, right?
Right, yeah.
And, that's going to go out and be seen by hundreds of thousands of people, hopefully.
Yeah.
And but what are those people thinking of? Like, if that's your only interaction with them, and then those people are like, "Hey, I'm a fan of your work, but man, that shot was real bad."
Yeah.
So, but the whole thing is like the loneliness aspect is a lot of YouTubers that I know that are really into this stuff. They don't have like a normal family life, and I've noticed that like their relationships seem to suffer. A bit. Like I'm very fortunate in that my wife is like very understanding, and also we met. But like we got married before I started doing YouTube. Right. And I know that people have had issues with, a YouTube upload schedule. Adam LZ had issues with that. Adam, we both know him. I don't know the situation, so, whatever. But I know there's some friction there. Kind of dating, picking up people, that sort of thing is hard because you have such a unconventional life.
And I think that on top of that, in both of our situations, we both live in pretty isolated areas.
Yeah.
I think me a little more than you. You actually have neighbors where I just have cows.
Yeah.
I'm literally in the middle of nowhere.
Well, I also have cows and horses. It's not like And every time somebody comes out here, it's like, man, you're out in the sticks.
You'd be like, yeah, let's go to Andrew's house, and then you'll see
exactly.
where the sticks are made.
Yeah.
Like it is the stick factory.
Mine is where the sticks go for vacation. Yours where the sticks
go to die.
Yeah, go to die.
Right. So even if I weren't doing this YouTube thing, even prior to jumping into this world feet first, my social life had suffered greatly. So now it's just kind of like that was the killing blow to my social life. So much so that I just don't even try to like. I don't really even use like Tinder or Bumble or any of that stuff. It's just like, hey, we matched. Come out to the middle of nowhere where no one can hear you scream. Like it's just that doesn't work. Like, hey, you want to come hang out with me over here in the middle of nowhere?
I'm exactly 900 minutes from wherever you are.
Yeah. So I don't bother. There's no point. Plus, it gives me more.
Do you know how to use your high beams? Because you're gonna need them if you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that like it's hard because you have all these commenters that are like, well, I'm going to unsub because you just keep making videos about the same car for years and years and years.
Right.
How about you come try to do this?
No, I get that.
Like, just
of course. There's always people.
I do see both sides. Like, sure, I see both sides. But like, how about you try to act as an entire production company and get stuff done within a matter of days?
Yeah.
Both working on the cars and editing the videos. Like, go ahead.
It's not feasible. You can do it, but your production quality suffers. If you do it to a really crazy degree, like the Obsessed Garage guys, they get one video out per month.
Yeah,
and their stuff is like insane. Like I have no idea how they get that much out. Because one video per month for the amount of work that they do.
Obsessed Garage or Gears and Gas?
Oh, no, I'm not Obsessed. Bad Obsession Motorsports.
Bad Obsession. Okay,
yeah. Obsessed Garage, that's Matt Mormon. He also makes good videos, but I'm talking about Bad Obsession Motorsports for Project Binky.
I mean, even Gears and Gasoline, same thing.
Gears and Gasoline
it's
as well.
Just two guys usually. I think they have an intern every once in a while, but they're like that goals.
Yeah,
goals.
Yeah, they make really really good stuff.
Yeah, they do.
And their stuff does for a while. Their stuff didn't do as well as it should have.
Yeah.
But now they've
gained a lot of traction.
They got their stride. And I really
if you
like
guys
that.
haven't seen their road trip from Florida to Alaska, I highly recommend it. Not only is it great, entertaining to watch, just the way that it's presented, their cinematography, the shots that they get, just oh my gosh, like it's so good.
It's really good. But I mean, even then, let's say you have a significant other, then it's a lot harder for that person to, if you have to go to an event or you have to take a week off or you have to do this thing and you have to have late nights, like it's just a grind where there's not a lot of people that are really willing to do that sort of support for you. And that's where a lot of people on YouTube, like people don't talk about this. They don't talk about how there's most of my friends, You're literally. I know this is really like this is so cheesy. You're my only friend here. Like you're my own. I've lived here for like two and a half years.
I would say that like Hendo and Eric.
Yeah. But like
someone who you see on a regular basis.
Sure.
Yeah.
But Hendo and I have never hung out.
Okay.
We hang out every once in a while. You come over to my house and we play video games.
Yeah.
We've done that a few times, right? Like. As far as friends, not like friends that also are in my videos and can do like a promotion type thing.
Yeah.
I don't have any friends, and like I'm an introvert. I'm perfectly fine being alone.
I used to be very extroverted, and I still have extroverted tendencies, but living where I've lived.
What does extroverted tendencies mean? Do you just wake up and you just yell?
I just wake up. What's up, guys? It's your boy back at it again with another day.
You just scare your cat.
Living where I've lived over the past like 3 years or so, I've definitely I've become addicted to the isolation and just not having to worry about pleasing others.
Right.
Just do what I want when I want.
Yeah, there's a good thing to that. I mean, with me, I just go, I don't go out to bars, I don't drink, I don't do any of this stuff. And basically, I just go and work on my cars. But for people that do need some kind of, emotional attachment, I can imagine, like I have, my wife lives here with me, and that's when she's not around, then it does get like isolating sometimes. It's like, wow, this house is really empty. Like
that's every day in my life.
Yeah. So, and I know how that feels. You know, I know how that.
Well, I mean, I do have my cat.
Yeah, there we go.
And she is real sweet. So
she's your buddy.
She's my pal.
Okay, so onto a little lighter note. I don't want to go on to for too much, but I think that's definitely a cost. I get a lot of emails about people wanting to start a YouTube channel, and just have that in the back of your mind, because if a lot of people can start a YouTube channel like on the side. And I think that's probably how you should start it. Just start it on the side where you already have kind of a source of income. And then on the side, you can be like, now it doesn't really matter what you do. You can find your niche and all that stuff. But if you start to have this as a full-time thing, get ready for this to take strain on like both your health, sanity, all that stuff. And I mean, it's very rewarding. I mean, you get to do stuff that nobody else can do. You make your own schedule. You're your own boss.
But that's few and far between. It's not every single day or every single weekend. Like
right, yeah, it's few and far between. But I've also noticed that there's these studies done, and it's like the top 3% of YouTubers make the most. It's like they make like 60% of the money. I'm paraphrasing. I don't really know what the stats are, but it's like some really small percentage of YouTubers make a crazy amount of money, and everybody else just gets like table scraps. So and for you to make enough money to get like just enough money to pay your bills, that is a hump you have to get over, But once you start getting into that, let's say top 10% or top 20% or whatever, then it starts going, and your workload increases substantially.
Yeah, exponentially.
Yeah, and when you have, I mean, how many projects do we have going on right now? And it's just like you can't get to them all. It's just we have this. You have to. The sponsors have to we have to talk to sponsors, try to get them on board. That's like a back and forth. Then there's filming, there's editing, there's making sure all the parts there. It's a logistics problem. So it's definitely a full-time job on top of
a full-time job.
On top of like before you even press play, press record, right?
Yeah.
It's a full-time job. So but it's fun. So that's where I'll leave it.
It's fun to be alone all the time.
It is. Well, it's pros and cons. That's one of the cons, but there's also a lot of pros. So I want to get to something that I actually it's a very heartwarming thing that I got. It's an email. And let me try to see where it was. I got a bunch of emails. Okay. This is from a fan. His name is Daniel Kenna. Now, I hope I'm not like outing him or anything, but that's his name. So Daniel says, here's the email to me. It's called Just a Hello, right? He says, hello, hope you're doing well and you don't mind that I've sent you an email. I'm sure you get loads of emails and can spend hours some days going through them all. And the last thing you need is one more, but I really want to share something with you. Because if it wasn't for you, I would have never done this myself. My name is Daniel. I'm 34 and I live in Sydney, Australia.
Nice.
I've been nice.
How you going, mate?
I've been watching your channel for almost 2 years now and love every video you put out. This kind of goes back to what we were talking about. It's like, man, you've been watching me for 2 years. Oh boy, you were there for some rough stuff. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you. In 2014, I was diagnosed with stage 4 Burkitt's lymphoma, blood cancer. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't be here, but I made it though. But the price of survival was high. I've been left disabled. My spine has been badly damaged from removing my spinal fluid and replacing it with chemo 12 times total. I use a wheelchair anytime I leave the home, and I lost total feeling in both of my hands. The nerves in my hands are dead. I have feeling from about midway up to my palm to my wrist. You can cut my finger off and I wouldn't feel a thing. Okay, so this is like, it's pretty serious.
Wild,
yeah. But you inspired me to have a go. Below is my 2016 Mercedes-Benz GLC 250D, and I wanted to change the grille that came stock from the factory to the newer diamond grille. Though it looked much better than factory, I ordered the part off the internet and had it booked in to have my local MB dealer fix it for me, as I thought there's no way I can do this. Now, the old me before cancer wouldn't have even booked it with the dealership. I would have done it the day the grill arrived. A few days before the dealership was to fit it, I decided I wanted to do it myself. If you can rebuild a Lamborghini, then I could do this. So I phoned them and canceled the appointment. 5 hours and 23 minutes later, I finished. Did as much research as I could online before doing it. It took most people under 2 hours to do it, but over 5 hours for me, and I'm very happy with the result. Sitting in my wheelchair and no feeling in the hands, so thank you. You inspired me to do this all myself. So this is like, when you have stuff like that, it's crazy. Like I told him, like, obviously your words mean more to me than I can ever.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But with that kind of attitude, dude.
Exactly. And you know, it's insane because first of all, I don't think I deserve that. Like that's way.
Yeah.
Listen, I just make stupid videos. Like I don't know what you're putting on my shoulders right now, but that's I really appreciate all that stuff, and that's the reason why I do this stuff, you know. And it's a good thing.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's really cool.
And it's like across the world, some guy just like watched the videos, like, you know what, I could do this.
Actually, he sent that from the future.
Sent that from the future.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because in Australia, it's already tomorrow.
And this is episode 88, the one where we
travel back in time. Back to the future.
Back to the future. I rewatched that movie recently. You know.
Yeah. It holds up.
Some of it holds up. So,
well, the first one.
So I was looking at the second one where they go to 2015.
Yeah. So talking about not holding up.
Well, to be honest, if you look at certain things, they got things they got things right, but not the things you think of. Like they have Jaws 19 in 3D, right? That they got that right. But I love the fact that they just had this franchise that's dead and buried, but they had a bunch of sequels. And they knew that because I guess they definitely called that because all that's coming out now is just sequels
and remakes and just
sequels and remakes and reboots and soft reboots and all that and retcons. Yeah,
nothing but superhero movies.
There are no more. There are no original ideas anymore, right?
So, although I think we should take a second. Today is the day that Stan Lee passed away.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah,
I may not be a huge Marvel movie fan.
No, he had a huge influence on
comic book guy, but still definitely sad to.
Yeah, he definitely will be missed. I think he was 95.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a good run though.
That's not bad.
That's not like.
And he had a massive impact on pop culture. Like that's crazy.
I don't think it's a gone too soon moment. I think it's like, wow, we can celebrate his life, that sort of thing. So I'm sure that his fans across the world will mourn him. As he definitely will be missed.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so let's see. We had some other stuff to talk about, I believe.
Yeah, we did.
Before we got into depression and also a slightly
an obit,
a slightly warmer tone, and then we went right back into depression. So let's do this. I'd like to argue a little bit.
Yeah, same. Because one of the guys that follows us on Instagram, his name is. It changes between Brian is relaxing, Brian is working, or Brian is studying. He changes, depends. Like his Instagram name changes with his.
I don't think he can get like those things done if he's always on Instagram changing his name.
Look, I don't pretend to know the guy's life.
I didn't make his Instagram, dude. So
he likes to keep people updated.
Okay, fine. What does Brian say?
So he sent in a question. And it's very simple. Mm-hmm. What makes a build a build?
Okay. What makes a build a build? What do you think makes a build a build?
So I'm sure that longtime listeners of the podcast, do we have those now? Have we been around long enough for them to be classified?
We've been around for 100,000 years, yes. Yes, we are the oldest podcast in existence.
All right, well then. So
I'll tell you what, back in my day.
People that have watched more than 3 or 4 episodes of this podcast or listened know that I'm not a huge fan of the stance community.
What? Oh no!
I just like cars that are drivable.
I just hear all the stance boys deflating.
So for me, like having been immersed in that culture It's very, very popular in Jacksonville.
Okay, so you were immersed in that culture just because you just went to car meets.
Yes, been to a lot of car meets in Jacksonville. They would slap on a cheap set of coilovers, a set of wheels that were worth more than the car, and they would call that a build.
Okay.
I don't think that's a build.
So what is necessary for an build? Like okay, so you have coilovers. What if you have like the best of the best remote mount reservoir, $3,000 or like, whatever I have on the Lamborghini, however much that costs. Something like that. And then you have some $10,000 forged CNC milled custom wheels. Like, is that a build? Like you've spent like a good part of 20 grand on this thing, even though you have two components. Is that still a build?
I think that it would you have to take into account how those parts are being used.
Okay.
So if you spend that much money to just dump a car on its nuts so you can look cool while you're sitting in a parking lot vaping,
okay,
then no.
Okay, Andrew doesn't like vaping apparently.
I don't care about vaping. It goes hand in hand with the stance.
It just goes. You can't have one without the other.
You got the Supreme shirts, the hats, the vaping, and the stance.
What do you have against Supreme shirts? How dare you?
Anyway, so if you spend that much to just like go to car shows and sit in one spot, you've wasted your time and your money. That's not a build.
But what about okay?
So if you've done that, but the wheels are forged and CNC'd and they're ultra lightweight, and you have the suspension dialed in for a purpose like drag racing.
But what if the purpose is
racing?
What if the purpose? Okay, so here's why I don't agree with you. Okay, I think your problem is not with is not with the concept of what they're doing with this. It's just the execution. Okay, so they have a purpose. It's just not a purpose you like. It's that's it. Like
I think that's exactly what I'm arguing. It's the execution. Are you using these parts for performance, or are you using them to look cool in a parking lot?
But that could in itself be like art is a purpose. Like it's art itself. It's supposed to be purposeless, right? But and it's up to the but that in itself is it's an art form. You have a car. Not okay. Before you guys started getting on me about being a stance apologist, I did write an article on Jalopnik about why we owe stance an apology. Okay, but
we don't.
Okay,
they owe us an apology.
We do. They owe society an apology, and I won't rest until they give it to me.
For endangering everyone because they have their wheels so cambered out that their contact patch is like the width of a rubber band.
Yeah, and I wrote that. I said that I have a problem with that. The issue is if you're parked in a parking lot, that goes away. Okay. That goes because you're parked in a parking lot, and that is its purpose for people to walk around and they go, "Oh, okay, this is styled a certain way."
Right,
it's just,
right. But what is the purpose of a car?
Well,
what is the sole purpose of a car?
It doesn't matter if you buy a car. Let's say you buy a car and it's a Lamborghini Countach with 5 miles on it. The purpose of that car is not to drive it. The purpose of that car is sit in your garage and make you money. Okay,
I disagree. In my world, any car that I purchase, I'm going to drive the piss out of.
Sure, but that's you, and that doesn't apply to everybody else, right? So,
but it should apply to everybody else.
But it should
because it's right.
See, when I come to power, it's going to be illegal for punishable by death. So, but what I'm saying is, for people, sometimes it's all about going to a car meet, getting respect from other people, and then having those other people saying, "Wow, your car's really outlandish," or "This is very unique," or something like that. It's just about the art form. It doesn't matter if it can do Nürburgring times, or if it can go around a corner faster, or if it has better acceleration. That doesn't matter. You can be going 5 miles an hour, which they most likely do because they have no contact patch and they're scraping on everything. If you can go 5 miles an hour, you can still look good. You can make slow motion Instagram videos and have that be your kind of vessel for
slow motion lens flares from the sun shot at either sunrise or sunset with some kind of trap, like low key lo-fi trap beat.
Listen, those get views because they look good. Honestly, they look. If you're in like an urban environment, and you have some low car, and it's like, it's really kind of, it's nice. It's a nice video to look at.
But it's literally the only thing that the stance guys do is that type of stuff. It's literally all the same.
Right, but that's why it's a cultural phenomenon, right? It's like that's why it's an archetype that does that. It's not like we have lots of variety here. Like no, the variety is in a very small subset, right? The variety is you can have different wheels, you can have different interior, you can do this and that. But within the stance culture, you still have. There are norms. You want to be slammed, right? You don't want to have like a super high car. Like I lifted my thing. Like no, that's not going to be you're not going to see that at a stance meet, unless you have a bro dozer. In which case, yeah, just the sky's the limit, literally.
Literally.
So then you have interiors, modifications, that sort of thing. Usually not performance oriented. It's usually if it's
in the stance community, I feel like they take a lot of things that are from the performance world, though.
I think it's just because it has the byproduct of making things look nicer. So if you have a like a polished aluminum CNC'd intake or something, right? Like an intake manifold, they'll put that on because it looks better. Because that's a primary purpose.
Right, but they also do like roll cages, quick release steering wheels,
again,
racing seats.
But that looks aesthetically better because it just looks more outlandish.
But there's no reason for it. There's no reason for it.
Of course, but
and on
we're
top
talking
of that,
we're talking about the art.
Yeah.
This.
But on top of that, it's the destruction of any functionality of a car. It's also the attitude of the stance people.
Well, that I can't really speak to because when you start getting to generalities of attitudes, there could be a lot. Like I've met a lot of really cool people in the
same. I mean, I have a lot of good friends that are into the stance thing and have
not
been
anymore.
for a decade.
Not anymore.
No. Like
they've all flipped their tables and turned this off.
No. Like they know how I feel. Like I call them out on it, but I'm not. Okay, I'm a jerk about it for sure.
Hey, dude, your car's looking real stupid. Oh, I just wanted to say hi, Andrew. What's going on? Why just insult me?
Like I have a good friend of mine up in Jacksonville. His name's Garrett. I'm calling you out, Garrett. He spent a bunch of money on Porsche wheels and adapters to put them on his automatic base model Civic Coupe.
That's okay. I don't hate that. I do not hate that.
I mean, it looked okay, but it wasn't like. Why?
It's not proper.
Why?
Why are you doing this?
And like everyone has like the Dapper sticker or like Camber Gang or Illest. They all have the stickers.
Do people have Illest? I think they've gone on to
There's Violent Click now, which is big.
Violent Click.
Violent Click.
Ooh, that's not. That's not going to age well.
I know the guy who owns the Lowered Lifestyle brand, Matt. Like I've known him for a few years, and like he knows how I feel about.
Sure,
but for him, like he's doing his thing.
First off, lowered cars just look better though. Like
lowered cars, but not cars that again are not functional. Like if it's.
Because you could honestly, because
if you get beached on a speed bump, I have zero sympathy.
Not even a speed bump,
or just like a slight incline,
the regular road.
Which again, I've had friends in Jacksonville that has happened to them, and they make a post on Facebook. Hey, I'm beached. Somebody come help me.
I'm beached. Somebody.
Like I'm like,
nope. The patrol. Like
nope. You did this to yourself.
They just
find your way out of it.
Everybody asked their mom because their mom drives a normal car.
Yeah. Or just they live with their mom and they need a ride home.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Oh man, I love trash talking.
There we go.
But I think that okay. I'll step away from the trash talk. I'll get back to just like bare bones definition. For me, a build is, in my opinion, putting cars on your parts that serve a purpose other than
putting parts on your cars. You said putting cars on your parts.
Putting parts on your cars.
Yes.
That serve a purpose other than just looking cool. That they need some sort of mechanical function.
Okay. So my whole thing is that I don't think that that's necessary.
Sure.
And I think that there's a lot of stuff on, let's say, even on your car, there's stuff on my car that aren't necessary, but I just like them. Because
that's fair. Yeah. That's fair. Okay.
You have a Pops and Crackles tune on your car. It makes race car noises. It is not a race car. You've never taken this thing to a racetrack.
Yet.
Yeah. Okay. But you're not going to. The reason why the race cars have that is so they can cool down cylinders after they've done a race.
Yeah, same.
When I go to Publix, I need to go. See, Publix is a
thing. Here's the thing.
Grocery store over here. If you guys don't know,
I don't deny the incredulity of my car and the way that I've modified. I don't deny it.
It's the same thing with the stance people, though.
No, it's not.
It's exactly the same thing because they know their cars are ridiculous. Nobody's going there with a stiff upper lip and going, "How dare you not?" Oh like
no,
my build.
that is the core of the stance community.
Really?
Oh yeah, there's whole groups like F your fake wheels, people that look down on people that can't afford to spend 10 grand on a set of Vossens.
Really?
Oh no, it's a whole dude. They are the worst snobs. Like stance kids are car hipsters more so than me.
Oh, that's
worse than me.
I don't know if that's even possible.
It is. Go to a stance meet. You should have gone to Simply Clean this past weekend.
I'm sorry. I was working on my Lambo.
Okay. Right? Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just working on my Lamborghini.
I'm just sorry. I'm working on the car that's going to be functional and fast.
It's like that Simpsons joke where he's like, I sleep in a race car. What do you sleep in? Like, I sleep in a big bed with my wife.
Yeah. So and again, like that's what I'm saying. Like, and again, I know that not all stance kids are like that. A lot of stance kids can't afford, a $25,000 set of Strasa Forge wheels, blah blah blah, or BC Forge wheels or whatever.
I like that you brought in the wheels that I have on my Lambo.
Well, they came with the car. It's fine.
Shh.
So like,
don't tell people.
So that. There are at the core of the stance community, it is very snobbish.
You think it's snobbish and adversarial?
Oh, very.
So I've seen the opposite of that.
I have too, but I'm saying the Instagram famous guys, because that's really the only kind of fame you can get when you're a stance kid is Instagram fame. Is they want to have they want to be exclusive, and they have these clubs like Violent Click and like all these other clubs.
Yeah.
You can only get a banner for your windshield if you're a member.
Okay.
Like that is huge in the stance community.
Sure.
Like I don't understand car crews in the first place, really.
Well, I've been on a few car crews, kind of unofficially. It's like you get stickers and you have to you pay like $20. I don't know what that is, but you just go to meets and you hang around and you go to Applebee's at the end.
Or you can just do that and not pay dues.
Yeah, you can just do that and then you just not put stickers on your car and just hang out.
Yeah,
that's fine too.
That's what I like to do.
But I think it is needlessly divisive when it comes to car crews and stance. But I think stance as when it boils down to its raw elements, you're talking about like kind of minutia. There are jerks, but it's not only in stance. If you
definitely not. I'm not saying that it's exclusive to the stance community. I'm just saying that the ridiculousness
I think that's just car culture in general. If you go to a Chevy meet, there's going to be a lot of people that hate Ford. Or hate Mopar,
which is stupid because they're all American cars.
It's really dumb.
If it were like the true Americans, they would all get together, Dodge, Chevy, Ford, all of them, and get together and hate on Japanese cars and import cars and stuff. But instead, their rivalry, like
they would carpet
your
bomb
American car is not as good as my American car. Like it's like the sports team thing. Like your sports team is not as good as my. It doesn't matter. They
go and throw Molotov cocktails at the Bimmer Forums meetup, right?
Yeah.
No, I think there's.
I don't know if they do Molotov cocktails. Those are Russian.
Those are Russian. Yeah. No, they what would they do? They just I don't know.
Poop. They'd throw poop.
They'd throw poop. Right. Because apes. That's why. I don't know. I don't. So I don't get that. There's a brand loyalty there, but I think it's the same thing with any. When you were a kid, I go back to this example all the time. When you're a kid and you have a PlayStation or an N64 or whatever, you draw your line in the sand because that's what you got for Christmas.
Sure, yeah.
You can't afford the competition, right?
Right.
So if you have a Chevy, listen, I spent 3 years of my life saving for this car. I got it perfect. I wax it every week, and I'll be damned if some Ford Mustang owner is going to say that they can beat me in a race. I have a C6 Corvette. It might be automatic, but listen, that thing shifts pretty good. And I've won, third best in class when I went to the regional, blah, blah, blah. And I want to, I feel a kinship with Chevy. They're just better people and that sort of thing. It's really dumb.
It's super dumb.
Really dumb because you can't afford the competition. If you had, Alejandro Salamandrin, right? He can afford anything. He just has crazy amount of money. He can just afford, I want to buy a Huayra. I'm going to buy a Huayra, right? And you can appreciate everything. He has that Volkswagen Beetle RSI,
which is super sick.
And it's super rare, but it's not exactly an expensive car.
Right.
That is something that a normal person could afford.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. And but he appreciates that, right? You can appreciate something like that. And I think you lose a lot of that when you get to stuff when like the Stance Nation, and if you go to a muscle car meet, or you go to any real like meet that has to do with one specific thing. I saw that at the Nissan meet. You know, people with Nissans, they didn't like the Acura people because, or like the Honda people. You look down on the Honda people because a Honda is like a step below. It's a 4-cylinder. It makes a lot of noise. Blah, blah, blah.
Why do Honda kids get crapped on all the time? Like the cars themselves are fantastic.
Depends, because whenever you have cars that are very, very cheap, they're very cheaply modified. You have a lot of people acting stupid.
Yeah.
You have people,
similar with the Stance community, really.
Yeah, it's any community. I guarantee you go on a Ford Focus ST forum, you're gonna have a lot of idiots asking dumb questions, and then you're gonna have people that have been there for years saying, "Oh, read the sticky snoob," or do something like that. You got people.
Fortunately, in my specific case with this specific ST group that I am in, that has not happened.
Well, because the ST group has only been around for about 6 months, so that's like
no, they've been around
for the last 5 minutes. Like that,
it's been like 4 or 5 years. That's a lot.
Yeah, internet. That's a lot. Internet time. That's actually quite a long time. Yeah,
that's huge. Okay. The Central Florida group, and I've talked about it before. Like the best, hands down, the best car community I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, because you own it, right?
No.
Oh.
I'm saying like one thing I do not miss is the Mini Cooper community.
Oh, okay.
And I've spoken about this in the past as well. Like it's just,
from what you tell me, it's not
pathetic. It is pathetic.
It's just not. Well, here's why. Here's why. Because the ST community, I think it's a car meant for enthusiasts, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But you're not also mixing with the Focus, like the moms who are like,
well, no, but there are some people in the ST group that have like SEs or titaniums, non-ST Focuses, but because the cars,
but those are aspirational, right? Those people want to be like, they want to improve their cars, right? So they're enthusiasts. Mm-hmm. With the Mini Cooper forums, there's people who are treating these things as handbags and they just want to accessorize them,
or like pets.
Yeah,
like I make this joke all the time, where it's like, coming from the RX-7 world to the Mini Cooper world, making that jump from the RX-7 world, we're talking about like car stuff, like thread pitch and compression and blah blah blah.
Oh yeah,
and then like I go to the Mini Cooper community and it's like a post like, oh well, I chose a name for my Mini Cooper today, or I took Stanley, the Mini Cooper. Here is a picture of him in the parking lot at Kennedy Space Center. Like, I went on a drive today. Like, hey, cool, you drove your car. Why are you telling it?
Sure. Yeah,
like no one cares.
No,
so you have that part of the Mini Cooper community, or then you have the guys that just they know everything, and you're wrong.
Yes.
I'm describing myself, but not in the Mini Cooper world. Not in
and then they have the Andrews of the world, who know everything, and
But at least I admit it.
I'm pious.
Yep. But just the Mini Cooper community is very divisive. You have the R53 guys, the supercharged guys. You have the R56 guys, the turbocharged guys.
Turbocharger,
and it's just like, you all like Mini Coopers. Shut up and get along.
Right. Okay. So based on that, now that we have thoroughly beaten that into the dirt, I wanted to ask you a question, kind of going off that same vein.
Sure.
So since you're talking about builds on the Stance, like what makes a build a build, what's the worst mod you can do to a car but costs the most? Like something that is very, very expensive, but it does like
nothing.
Nothing or significant damage to the car in terms of.
I think we would go back to spending a lot of money on a really really functional high price set of coilovers.
Sure.
And then just using it to just scrape your oil pan on a reflector on the middle of the road. I think that is a huge waste of money. Buying really wheels that are literally the same cost as or more than
it's always
the
more
price
than.
of your car.
It's always more than. It's never the same.
That doesn't make any sense to me. Like
it's $500 car, $5,000 wheels.
Yeah, I bought these work CR Kais from Japan and got them imported overnight from Japan, and I put them on my
curb rash and
1996 Honda Civic sedan.
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense to me.
Honestly, those wheels actually probably will look good on the 1996.
I mean, those wheels look good on almost anything.
Right.
CR Kais I love those wheels.
So that's probably a bad example. It looks good.
Sure,
that's a car you would do.
I wouldn't spend that much money on wheels for a Civic though.
If you got a good deal on it though.
On the wheels?
On both.
Obviously, yeah.
Oh, because
if it's a good deal.
Obviously,
I could resell them.
Yeah, I'd do that in a second, of course. Okay.
Or if I'm doing if I were to do a legitimate super JDM, really nice,
right,
properly done, Honda Civic hatch or something. Of course, I'd spend some money, get some like legit Spoon, Mugen, those sorts of parts, Cusco, like really go all in and make it a nice car.
Yeah.
Sure, I'd do that.
Okay. So I was thinking more in terms of, because with the stand stuff, the things that you can get for a lot of money as far as suspension and wheels, you can also replicate 90% of that for like 1/10 of the budget.
Sure.
All right. So you can get cheap coilovers from eBay, that's Chinese made, and you can just drop your car and it'll ride like crap, but you'll be low.
Sure.
And you can get cheap knockoff wheels, which will just serve the purpose.
And they'll roll. Yeah.
I was thinking more in terms of like alligator interior, that sort of thing. Like you have to do a lot of work to do this stuff, and then it ends up looking like, oh my god, that is the tackiest thing in existence. So I'm thinking like alligator, like some exotic material,
crazy interior type stuff, like ostrich leather, which I've never liked the look of. I think it looks like a cow that had zits.
Yeah, they actually had ostrich, not real ostrich leather, but it was like ostrich pattern in the BMW M5 E39.
Oh god.
Mine had it, yeah.
Oh no.
And it was okay, but just looked really off. Like why would this be a thing? It's like gray ostrich. Like
that was a factory option?
Factory option, yeah.
That's disgusting.
It was real bad.
I hate everything about that.
Yeah, it's not I mean, it wasn't really in your face. Usually the people who do ostrich, it has to be like neon green or something. But
I guess as far as like cosmetic upgrades that don't really affect the performance of the car, I really can't say if it's a waste of money or not, because it's just someone's taste. Like I have wing risers and a spoiler extension on my car that serve literally no purpose.
Yeah, but it's not ruinously expensive. What I'm saying is like,
okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
If somebody wants to make their entire interior, like that's going to cost thousands and thousands of dollars.
Or like the stance guys that do like the hardcore wide body kits and stuff.
Sure,
that they're not going to utilize.
Sure, but that yeah, no, I get that. I was also thinking conversions, car conversions. Not necessarily kit cars, although you could do the kit car thing, but usually the kit car bases are something that isn't really that expensive to
so
Fiero or MR2 or something. So
like buying a Golf GTI and wanting to do an R32 swap, like drivetrain and motor and all that. No,
that would be cool. I'm talking about a person that buys a Honda Civic and puts a Ford Mustang front end on it, that sort of thing. Like, the ones that you see every once in a while.
From like the early 2000s, like the Super Street days.
But here's the thing, but they look really good. Like I'm saying like the workmanship looks very good. And like somebody spent so much time on this.
It's rare.
And it looks like garbage.
Yeah.
So that's what I was like, who would do this? This obviously cost somebody thousands of dollars. And now they have a Civic that looks like an 04 Mustang. Like, why would you do this? Makes no sense.
Yeah. Or like those from back in the day, the body kits. Even that was a waste of money, and they never fit properly. Like
you have to mold them with like gallons of Bondo, and then they would always crack.
I never saw one that was affixed to the car properly. Like they would always be like wiggling or flapping in the wind while you were driving.
They're super flimsy fiberglass, and they were never. It was always like metal screws, and it always rusted out.
And they use the chicken wire from Home Depot for the grills.
What you know about that chicken wire?
Oh, girl, let me tell you. Nothing, because I never had a crappy body kit on any car that I owned.
So I'll tell you a little story. One of my friends, he was really into Mazda MX-6s.
I love those cars.
Those are really good cars, but he was really into the what Mighty Car Mods would call sex spec cars.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So these auto salon
I mean, that was
things.
the only spec back in the day.
Right. So this was early to mid 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
And he had a Mazda MX-6, and this thing was like, he got it painted at some like Mako Earl Scheib type place, and it was like $500. But I think he was the only. He saved up money like the entire summer, and he was the only one out of all of us to like get a paint job. And we're like, I wonder what it's gonna look like. And there's like overspray everywhere, but you don't care. Like you don't care.
It's one color and it matches.
Yeah. So he put a body kit on his car.
Oh god.
And he had them molded in. Like for an extra fee. Dude, first of all, they painted over the stickers, which is always good. Like that shows you the prep work that they want to paint it over the stickers, like painted his tires, that sort of thing. And it was hilarious. You could tell where they just slapped on a ton of Bondo, because what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to put some fiberglass, you're supposed to sand it down, make sure it's primed, all that stuff. But they just slapped on a bunch of Bondo. It's good enough. A bunch of sanding marks, and then they painted over it. But from 30 to 50 feet away, in the dark, your eye squinted, it looked sort of okay.
Nice.
It looked okay. And like for $500, listen, you can't get a better deal.
Can't beat it.
But that just reminded me of like how much we were like when you were a kid, you would put up with a lot of crap. Like,
oh yeah, I have a perfect analogy for this.
Yes.
So those of you that follow me on Instagram know that I'm really into building Gundam models,
right?
Like in a big way.
Yes.
Like I'll just put it out there. I'm a nerd. Mm-hmm. Whatever.
What?
Wait, what? So I have all the kits ever since I started building.
Yeah.
Over 15 years ago.
Okay.
And like the kits that I painted back then and customized or whatever, like I used whiteout instead of white paint.
Okay.
It looks really bad.
Yeah, it looks real bad.
Like hot garbage bad.
Yeah.
And so like I'll unbox a kit that I thought was really cool. Like it's like when you play a game as a kid and you remember like these awesome graphics and it's like this really awesome game and then you pop it back in like 2 weeks ago and you're like, ooh,
wow, this is bad.
Yeah, like I can't tell what's going on here. Like there's 3 polygons on the screen.
Yeah, we actually just a quick side note. Side note on that side note, we played Automotive Lamborghini for the Nintendo 64.
Masterpiece.
And I remember as a kid, I remember not loving the game, which means that it wasn't a good game. Like for you to not love a game as a kid, because you can make lemonade out of any stale old lemon.
Yes.
When you were a kid. But I remember playing this game and I'm like, I don't there's something about this. So we played it, and honestly, the graphics are probably the best part about that game. For N64, that wasn't bad. It wasn't horrible. It was very Cruis'n USA type look.
Cruis'n USA was way more polished.
Cruis'n USA had a lot more going on, but I'm talking about like just kind of the way the cars handle. It was very like kind of twitchy, that sort of thing. But honestly, I think the graphics were okay as far as N64 is concerned. But man, is the gameplay not good? It is it's unplayable.
The whole
first of all, you can't finish a race. It is impossible to finish a race in the Automobile Lamborghini.
Yeah.
It's like you have your time.
Welcome to Car Guys video game reviews.
Car Guys play. Yeah. If you ever play this game, you should definitely because it's a very, very bad game. But it's one of those like so bad it's good. Like what is this? Like you can't. It's impossible to finish a race.
Yeah.
And unless you're doing like a completely perfect line, but that's also impossible
because of steering. The controls are awful.
Yeah. But that's an example of why when you're a kid, when it comes to video games, cars, movies, all that stuff.
You put up with a lot.
Yeah, you put up
your imagination fills in the gaps.
Right. Okay, so I think we'll get on to some questions here. Let's see what we got as far as questions. I have my Instagram open on my desktop. Did you know that Instagram can be open with and desktop?
You can actually, I think, post to Instagram from the web browser, and like you can view stories. Like it's basically fully functioning. I'm almost positive.
I don't think you can post, but you can look. So let's just go over here. So it's Tan Dan says, by chance, have you found any uncounted Florida ballots in any of your project cars?
What is it with Florida and recounts, man?
Actually, you know what? I have when I was doing the trunk in my Lambo. It was it's the weirdest thing. I opened up the trunk in the front because I wanted to change the battery, and 46,000 ballots came out. That's crazy, right?
Wild.
Yeah, and they were all for the Democratic opponent of the who's running. Okay.
There
we go. Okay, next.
Politician man and politician.
Oh, sincerely, man. Brenda Snipes. Oh, I didn't see that one.
Oh, man.
Oh, okay. All right. So Brenda Snipes is. Oh, you should Google it. All right. Are you going to sell it? No. Any plans for the Lambo after it's finished, aka track days, daily driving, more tuning? I think,
all the above, really.
Yeah. I think so.
What is the state of the tune in the Lambo right now? Are you going to keep it as is for a while, or is it an immediate need to kind of refine that tune?
So there's no the tune as far as driving and top end is pretty good.
Okay.
It's like dialed in. I think I'll change the target AFRs a little bit, just to make it run a little bit leaner when it's idling. Because right now when it's idling, it's at 14.0. I want it to be at 14.7.
Okay.
Because I'm just burning gas for no reason.
Right.
Also, I need to fix some idle issues. It idles fine, but then if I accelerate, there's like a little flat spot in the curve, and then it kind of goes down, goes up, kind of fluctuates a little bit. So I want to make that a little smoother.
Just a few small tweaks.
Yeah, I can do that myself. I also want to do stuff like, for some reason, the knock control isn't exactly working all that well, so I want to make sure that's working. Then I want to do VVTi tuning. I know that there's like a rudimentary map on there, but I want to kind of get it dialed in so I have more torque down low. And then want to do the traction control. That's a real big thing. And then,
when are you going to make it all-wheel drive again?
I'm thinking. Well, I mean, before I finish it, I think we'd just put the drive shaft in. Should be all right.
Are we going to make it to the Festivals of Speed meet with that thing?
That's tomorrow. So no,
it's Wednesday.
it's Tuesday. It's 13th.
I thought it was the 14th.
No, it's Tuesday the 13th. But no, I'm not gonna. Even if it's Thursday, I'm not like the exhaust still isn't done. So I still have a lot to do, and also get the car like legally on the road. It's not gonna be done. So apologies to anybody that wanted to see the car, but I actually on my YouTube, like, I posted it and said that, you know, I'm going to do this in the future, and we'll see. Like, I'll definitely announce whatever I'm going to do. But that's kind of the nature of builds. But
sorry, I didn't mean to call you out on that. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you don't. That's totally fine. I actually want people to know that. I don't want people like, Tavarish said it was me here. He's a big meanie. So I don't want that to happen. But I also have to do. Then we can do stuff like anti-lag and drag launches, that sort of thing. So building boost at the line and then flat foot shifting, that sort of thing. That's going to be when I go a little further.
I'm excited for the anti-lag.
I'm excited for a lot of things. I want to redo some things in the fuel system. I want to get a fuel pressure sensor in there just so the ECU knows what's going on. So in case the fuel pressure goes to 0, it just shuts the engine off. So that's good. Because right now it doesn't really know. So I can lean out the car, and that's not good. Also want to like the banks on the left and right banks, they're not connected. So it's like two separate fuel systems. So I want to connect them so the pressures equalize, and I also want to put a fuel pressure regulator on it, just running the stock regulator. So there's some stuff to do. I want to do that before I start chasing more power. Just so I have some more control.
But until then, you can just kind of take it out and have some fun. So
Go
cruise in it and just kind of do
Yeah, right now, it's if I press the gas down, it's scary. It's like, it's real fast. But that's what I'm going to do. Let's see what else we got. When will you come to Greece for your holidays? Message me if you need a tour guide or hotels or anything. Well, thank you. But I don't know when I'm coming to Greece. It's not in the plans. But yeah, good. Greece tends to be nice. Are they still probably have that economic problem, right? Like they have broke.
I got to be honest. I'm not huge into world politics, so I don't know.
How dare you? Okay. When will the manual SL swap happen? I want to do that around like after the Lamborghini is done. So before I do any other big builds. That are going to take a lot of time. I want to do like the little stuff first. So just kind of getting everything else in my fleet running, repaired, and maybe modified. So that's definitely going to be kind of coming up. The Bentley is also kind of going to be a quick build. I don't think it's going to take that long. Do you recommend this for other car enthusiasts? I don't know what this is. Do you recommend buying a Lamborghini? Sure. Hey, upload the video already. No. When you bought the Lambo, how much of you thought it would be a massive money pit with no return? 0% of me. I knew that at the very least I can get my money back if I just parted it out.
Yeah.
So it's not a massive money pit. Everybody else thought it was a massive money pit, which is good because that's how I got views.
Yes.
Because people were like, "Oh, he's gonna be eating his own shoes in a week," and like it turns out 8 months later, I'm still working on the stupid car. So. Collab video with Chris Fix. We actually did a collab video. I don't know when that's coming out on his channel. I don't know if it is coming out on his channel. But
the footage is there.
Yeah, the footage is there. So we did one, and it was a lot of fun. Met Chris Fix. We hung out for a day. He's like super nice dude. Yeah, so if that comes out, you guys will see it, and make sure to subscribe to him because you definitely are at this point. But
yeah,
subscribe to everybody. Everybody needs subscriptions,
except for
who?
I was going to say someone, but I don't. Not
okay. Never mind. All right, so I think that's going to be it for today. Tune in next time where we talk about more car stuff.
And we eat our shoes.
We don't eat our shoes but you're going to think we are going to eat our shoes.
I have already eaten a shoe.
Andrew's eating a shoe. Okay, if you'd like to contact us, carguystalk@gmail.com. All our social links will be down below.
If you eat a shoe, it's considered soul food.
Hit that like button if you ate your own shoe at home and you just want to let everybody know because you have a shoe in your mouth.
The end of this podcast is laced with shoe puns now.
So let's not get tied up in this, okay?
If we wanted to, we could talk about Vans.
That's okay. So now all I'm thinking about is Vans. So until next time, this is me, Tavarish, for Andrew Howell, reminding you guys, as always, to
find your inner New Balance.
Wrench every day, guys.